Hey guys, it's Ender, back again for another video where we're going to be going in depth into some of the hidden features in Space Engineers 2's alpha. And I've pretty much found all of the different items that are currently in the game. That's right, today I'm going to be showing off the tools and items and components that are currently hiding away inside the game files in Space Engineers 2. So to get started, here we have the new welder. A very advanced looking sci-fi design, quite blocky, I like it a lot. It certainly seems a lot more comfortable to hold than the last one, just being a tube. And is that a sight on the back? But yeah, I haven't actually been able to get a hold of this myself onto my character yet. I have seen some clips of other people doing that, and if I manage to do it then I'll try and get a video to you guys pretty soon. Next one's the grinder. Seems like the grinding wheel itself isn't rendered in at the moment, but the rest of it is. Seems somewhat similar to the Space Engineers 1 grinder, a bit more blockier. Got some nice buttons on here for turning it on and off. I like that little detail there. I also like how it looks like the handle on the side folds inwards. I've also heard that it breaks the same regulations as the old one. And here we have what everyone's been waiting for. The Space Engineers 2 hand drill. Oh baby, this looks hot. Big and chunky. I don't know how a character is going to be able to handle that much rotational power through this big massive drilling head and the big massive drilling shaft. Unfortunately, I don't really see any buttons to turn it on. There is a nice little handle here that looks like it folds as well. But yep, that is the drill. Next up we have this PvE ball pit down here, which I've filled with all of the ores. So I'll be going through each one, and once I'm done with it, I'll kick into this little goal right here, because now you can actually kick these things around. Yep, you can now play football with all the ores and stuff that you find lying on the ground. So let's get into it. First of all, we have platinum. This is what platinum looks like now. Let's try not to snooker two things in at once. Here we have nickel and lead, one of the 4 new ores that they've added. The other 3 I'll get into them. Let's just get the nickel. Right. Goal! Let's put the lead in there. God, I'm so bad at the sport. Goal again. Titanium is another one of the new ores. Titanium has great strength to weight ratio, so it's probably going to be used for some high-end parts. Here we have the good old iron ore, which we'll probably be using for making our steel bits. Ice, which will be very important with the oxygen and hydrogen, and also probably water as well, since it is literally just frozen water. Let's kick this in there. Let's do a clang ball. I'll get you in there eventually. Here we have silicon, which is semiconductor, used in Space Engineers 1 mainly for glass and computers and stuff, so any electronics is probably going to have some silicon in it. However, electricity is probably also going to have some copper in it, copper being a great conductor of electricity. And I just scored a goal with that, that was so awesome. Cobalt, you remember that. Annoying because you needed loads of it for all your metal grids and gravity generators and stuff. Here we have uranium, kind of similar to the to what it looked like in SE1, but used for fueling all your fission reactors and stuff. Let's chuck this in there. Goal. Let's hope that doesn't blow up in there. Can we get the ice in there again? No. Oh, so close. Oh, come on, I was so close there. There we are, finally the ice is in there. Here we have stone ore. Is stone an ore? I don't think stone is an ore, but I mean,
if it's economically viable to extract all the trace elements out using a refinery, then it's by definition an ore, I guess, so.
Into the chute we go. I said into the chute we go. There we are. Now we have silver here, good old silver, which we use for reactor components and medical components and not much else in SE1, but in real life is quite unreactive and pretty useful for some things. Chromium is another one. Now I'm not entirely sure what chromium is going to be used for in SE2. I might speculate about this when we come to going through each and every one of the components we're going to go through. But interestingly, it is used in the alloy for stainless steel. Here we have magnesium, in SE1 used for a lot of the bullet traces. Platinum used for your thruster components. And we have gold here as well, which is another great conductor, quite soft, probably for advanced components. So I don't know if I'm ever going to get the rest of these guys in, but that is all of the ores. Now let's just try and kick all the rest of these in here. Clang ball. That's right, I've officially invented clang ball, and I'm not very good at it. And finally, here's literally every single component and also some of the ammo we've got as well that's currently in the game. So starting off with the ammunition, we have the good old Gatling ammo box for your Gatling turrets, and here's a rocket for your rocket turrets. That right there is the advanced compressor. A very nice looking. There's also an ordinary compressor. Now this one here is the chemical synthesizer, and it seems really interesting because it doesn't look like a component, but more like something you'd place down. So I'm wondering if this is going to be like the route they're taking into survival, where you start off with very small items that you can just place down and use to start making all your stuff. But yep, chemical synthesizer. This one's also pretty interesting, the chrome coating. If anything, it seems more like a tool. It's like some sort of spray gun. So perhaps it might function like a normal component, but also maybe it's like skins and stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. This one here is probably one of the most badass looking components, the combustion chamber. I just love the little holes in the side. But yeah, probably going to be used for like thrusters and stuff. It's got a little turbine on the end of it as well. Next up we have the compressor. I don't know what the compressor is going to be used for. Maybe for water pumps or engines, thrusters. And yes, I have had a look in the game files, and water pumps are there. Now here is the good old-fashioned construction component we all know and love from SE1. Not too much to say on this. Now here we have some electronic parts, and it looks like a toolbox of sorts with a bunch of different components inside. Maybe little diodes and some microcontrollers here. So it's probably going to be using some silicon in the construction here, and this is enriched uranium. It was underneath the components list, but from SE1 it was more of an ingot, but I'm including it anyway because why not? Down here is some glass, and it's really nice because it's even got some transparency on it. Now this one here is gold thread, and it keeps on rolling away, so I had to put some blocks either side of it, but yeah, just a little spool of gold thread. It's probably going to roll away now, so bye bye gold thread. Right here we've got a very big one. The gravity core, no doubt, is going to be used in the gravity generators, like this one right here. And here we have a heavy duty plate, so maybe this is going to be used for heavy armor instead of steel plates. Here we have another big one, the ion accelerator. Another one with some lovely details, although the texture seems to be partially missing on this side. Some little decals, but yeah, probably going to be using the ion thrusters. Here's another one that's probably going to be using the ion thrusters, the ion chamber. Just looks like a nice scientific piece of chamber material. Now this one's going to get me a lot of views if I put it in the thumbnail of the video. This is a laser. That's right, you heard it from me first. We have a laser. It's even got the laser decal on the back here. Does this mean that we're going to have laser weapons in Space Engineers 2? I have no clue. Maybe it's going to be used for some other blocks, like maybe the assembler uses some lasers in its processing, but we'll see. There's the lead bar here. Here we have the hard drive, which will probably be used for like your computing and stuff like that. Though strange that 10,000 years in the future, and they're still using magnetic hard drives instead of everything being solid state. Here we have magnesium powder and magnesium bar. Magnesium powder we had in Space Engineers 1. The magnesium bars are new. I wonder what happens if you chuck this item into water. Here we have a mainframe. I can imagine there's going to be some big computer blocks that we're going to get. But another very beautiful component. And all these huge components are making me wonder, how are we meant to carry these? That thing does not fit in the backpack on the back of the Engineer. Here we have the good old-fashioned metal grid, again returning from Space Engineers 1. The motherboard, possibly a replacement for the old computer items. The motor, another returning item. Now these two down here are so tiny I had to put a little arrow here, just so I didn't lose them. So what are they? We've got a permanent magnet and a platinum electrode. Now this one's interesting. Permanent magnets, they're pretty important in certain types of motors, which makes me believe perhaps some components aren't going to be manufactured simply from just a bunch of ingots and stuff, but rather from other components, so like subcomponents to manufacture other components. And the platinum electrode here might be used in the refineries or smelters or whatever for electrolysis. Also the oxygen hydrogen generators possibly. Here we have the power cell, another returning item. It says power on the top just to let you know which way the power goes. And beware of the high voltage electricity. This one here is a power module which appears to look like a rock right now. Probably doesn't have a proper model of its own. This one here is the pressure pipe. They're probably going to be used for some sort of water-related things, maybe the pumps again. Now right next to it we have some radiation shielding. Now, I'm wondering what this is going to be used for. Perhaps it's going to be used for some sort of reactor thing? Unless they're going to be adding some sort of radiation mechanics in Space Engineers 2. Speaking of radiation, you know what else produces radiation? Wink wink. This right here is the radio communications module. Once again, another returner from Space Engineers 1. Going to be using your antennas and stuff, like the one up here. The reactor core, another really big one. Don't know how you're going to carry this one. Some silver rods, possibly one of the ingots, possibly something more specialised. Here we have stainless steel, which kind of confirms my theory that I had earlier in the video regarding the chromium. So it's probably going to be used in the refining of this. Here we have the good old best friend steel plates, and it's nice and reflective now. Shiny. Here we have steel tube. It's not labelled as large steel tube or small steel tube, just steel tube now. Superconductors, another returner from Space Engineers 1, looks more snaky than ever. Titanium blades. At first when I saw some components called blades in the game files, I thought they'd be used for like wind turbines and stuff, but now It looks more likely going to be used for your thrusters and stuff. Next to the titanium blades is titanium sheet, which might also be involved in the fabrication of these guys. Titanium, another ore that I covered in the beginning of the video during the Clang ball session. High strength to weight ratio. Turbine blades, the little brother to the titanium blades. Probably just going to be made out of some steel, although likely also be part of the earlier game. And here we have the ultra-resistant plate. Very interesting because it's the third different type of plate we've got. And finally, we have the wire, which is probably made of copper. Yeah, a lot of these guys are pink, so it doesn't look like they've got proper LODs at the moment, but that will probably change. So yeah, that's all the components and items and stuff that we have in Space Engineers 2's game files so far. Of course, all of these could completely change in the future, and not at all representative of the final game, but it's interesting to speculate nonetheless, especially on these lasers. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some of the information juicy, and I'll be back with another banger soon enough. So make sure to like and subscribe for all the latest Space Engineers 2 news. And are out. Clang ball. That's right, I've officially invented Clang ball, and I'm not very good at it. Oh, come on. You could also make a Clang snooker, I guess. Oh, yes! Good thing there's no Clang goalie. Or maybe Clang is the goalie. Oh, I'm going to dribble this. Get in. Nah. Yes, yes, come on, roll in. Woohoo! And I believe I can kick you in as well. Oh no. In. Ah, PvE. Get in! Woohoo! And we are done playing Clang Ball.